May marking AAPI Heritage and Mental Health Awareness Month, we're shining a spotlight on some of the particular challenges faced by the Asian American community. This is the least likely racial group to utilize mental health resources, and it comes at a time when many Asian Americans feel more ostracized and stressed than ever before. The American Psychological Association reports nearly 8 in 10 psychologists saw an increase in patients with anxiety disorders between the start of the pandemic and late last year. 2/3 saw a rise in demand to treat depression. I spoke with 2 women trying different approaches to help their communities and themselves.
It's absurd.
The national mental health crisis is hitting Asian Americans in culturally unique ways. Headlines about anti-Asian hate and pandemic scapegoating add additional layers to the population's anxiety, stress, and mental health. According to the Asian American Foundation's recent 2023 survey, 1 in 2 Asian Americans feel unsafe.
As an Asian American woman right now, take stock of your mental health. What have been some of the difficulties that you've experienced?
My mental health has been deeply challenged.
Haejin Marshall channels art into spaces for mental health healing.
It's my own direct experience. Like, if I never experienced the level of anxiety, how could I then talk about it? How could I then try and be a part of the solution, right? And it has been really, really hard. I've never walked down any street being afraid until recent years.
Marshall is one of a growing number of Asian Americans attempting to facilitate mental wellness in alternative ways.
For people who think that this sounds really nice but are skeptical, you actually have the data.
Yes, the project that we were part of in Mount Sinai, we had a research study done, and it proves 15 minutes of experience in these spaces reduces your stress and cortisol levels by 60%. To be validated by science and to be working, not, at odds, but in tandem and in harmony is so powerful.
While current pressures add to the mental burden, cultural stigmas often keep Asian Americans from asking for help. According to the American Psychological Association, Asian Americans are actually 3 times less likely to seek mental health services than their white counterparts.
The stigmas come from traditional communities not knowing what a new opportunity, a new way of being looks like. So you can't blame them. It's just that they don't have that concept yet.
By traditional measures, one might think Dalia David has achieved the Asian immigrant American dream. The Indian-born chef has achieved fame as a finalist on Chopped.
Next up, here's Chef Dalia David.
It's very important for people to show up in the best way possible, but also earnestly say, I'm still working on myself.
Dalia's company, Honest Eating, facilitates difficult conversations over food.
Everything in here needs to become friends.
It's an attempt to break down stigma, especially on issues of race and mental health.
What I noticed was that this type of conversation helped shift perspectives and change people's minds. When you bring people together, have these conversations over food, make a meal together, it really adds value in the sense that you're able to use your brain in a different way. And that's sort of the point of Honest Eating, is to just, repair the world one conversation and meal at a time.
Asian Americans, of course, are not a monolith, and similarly, mental health encompasses a wide spectrum. But can these types of unique approaches actually make a difference?
In Asian communities, there is such a long-standing stigma, a cultural, like a shame. We don't have it all together. We're strong-willed people, and we're so fiercely driven. And so, like with anything, there can be an imbalance.
If, a group of people are not open to the idea of sitting down for traditional therapy, to sit down and do something that is super primal and super intimate, that naturally people just sort of open up and relax into, is an opportunity, kind of like a gateway into having conversations that bring up things that help them reflect on themselves and where they need to go, then this is a value add.
If we say mental health is a problem, there are people that are actively, from all different facets, looking for solutions, and we're just offering a solution.
Well, joining us now is Cindy Hsu. She's an anchor for our New York City station, CBS News New York, and has become an advocate to breaking down these barriers. Cindy, you have been public with your own mental health struggles. As we saw in the piece, the APA found that the biggest barrier to Asian Americans actually seeking help is the stigma. As a public figure, how did you battle that?
Well, I sat with it for 8 years, before I talked about it. So I think I went public with it during COVID because I knew everybody was going through some sort of mental health issue. And I felt like now's the time because people would be more understanding. And I just want to make clear what my story is really quick, just because I think that helps with breaking the stigma is to just, So 8 years ago, I suffered from depression. And it got so severe, it led to an attempted suicide and a stay in a psychiatric hospital and treatment until I was able to come back to work. And now I'm doing great, although I'm still on medication and I'm still seeing a therapist. But, and that's why I talk about it openly, because there's no shame.
No shame
in going through this.
And in talking about it, one of the interesting things from these women, they were saying that in talking about it, they found that they were actually able to help guide their mothers, their fathers, this older generation to breaking down the stigma and taking care of themselves as well. I want to share some statistics. The Asian American Foundation had some new numbers that they just came out with. 52% of Asian Americans reported feeling unsafe, and an overwhelming 78% say that they do not feel fully accepted as Americans. Talk to us about this perpetual foreigner syndrome and why that lack of belonging also impacts mental health in profound ways.
Well, I'm not surprised at those statistics. Since I was a little kid, I have always felt very different. Honestly, it wasn't until I moved to New York City that I felt like I had a place, that I had a community. And that wasn't until I was 27 years old. So, and as far as affecting your mental health, many Asian Americans, we are brought up not to be a burden and not to complain, and everything's supposed to look good on the outside. So then you don't ask for help. And that's the problem. We really do need to ask for help. And talk about it. We need to get more mental health experts who are Asian and, just talk about it openly.
Well, this segment focuses on Asian Americans, but obviously there are other populations who battle with their own stigmas, trying to achieve honesty about their own mental health. What's your advice to anyone out there who is struggling right now?
You're not alone. And there are so many people out there to help you. The minute that I went public, which was really nerve-wracking because I have a child. I had no idea how people were going to react. So many people said I went through maybe not the exact same thing, but I know where you're going through because I've been through something. There are nearly 300 mental disorders. So everyone's going through something. And we just need to open up about it. There's so many different groups. American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, I'm very involved with. NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness. There's a bunch of us out there. Let's talk about it. Let's normalize it so we can all, get better together.
Right. That, as you said, there is no shame in it.
No.
All right, Cindy, thank you.
Welcome.
And if you or someone you know needs help, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline Network is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can call, text, or chat their hotline using the 3-digit number 988.